We're going to take a quick break, come back with Chris Gruetzemacher, featherweight prospect. He's going to sit down with John and talk a little bit about his fight with Roli Delgado at ShoFights and the rest of his career and how it unfolds. Check us out after the break.
All right, here on the MMA Outsider Podcast right now, we are joined by featherweight prospect Chris Gruetzemacher. He is coming off of a big win over Roli Delgado at ShoFight 20. But first off, Chris, for those fans who aren't as familiar with you, you're 11-1 now, and they probably should get to know you soon. So talk about how you got started in mixed martial arts.
Honestly, man, there was no plan to be a fighter. I was just trying to get in shape, man. Just worked at a Valley Total Fitness, and I just wanted to, like, obviously I was watching Ultimate Fighter, and I was watching UFC, and, like, I'd order the pay-per-views and watching and stuff, but, like, I just wanted to go do jiu-jitsu just to get back in shape, like I did when I used to wrestle, man. And then I joined the gym, and they did Muay Thai, and they did jiu-jitsu, and, they had some, they had a strength conditioning coach there, and I just started doing all of it, man, just because, that's what the gym had, and I just like being here. So that's kind of how I got started, man, just trying to have some fun and just get back in shape.
Yeah, and I imagine with your wrestling background, I'm sure you're, pretty competitive. At what point did you decide that you wanted to at least give it a try as far as maybe taking an amateur or low-level pro fight?
Actually, honestly, the gym, I just wanted to do jiu-jitsu competitions. Like, I didn't really want to be a fighter, to be honest. I didn't plan for that. I kind of was living a lifestyle beforehand. And it just got to the point, man, that, we had created a fight team here, because this gym, the gym I train at is it's a martial arts gym. Like, you can do just jiu-jitsu here. Like, you can just do boxing, or you can just do kickboxing. Like, we don't teach you how to be MMA fighters here. You learn how to do whatever class we have at the time, that's what you learn how to do. And, so, they started a fight team, here. I just wanted to, there was no wrestling here except for the fight team, so I wanted to help out and wrestle a little bit, just because I like, wrestling and stuff. And eventually I just kept coming to more classes, I kept doing more stuff, and they just asked me, we put all this work in, do you want to try an amateur fight? And it just kind of was like that, man. I was real just relaxed, and, hey, you want to do this? And I just said to myself, well, you're putting in the work, you might as well see if some of these skills work, man. Just go try it. So that's kind of how it went down.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, of course, most guys, a lot of guys, it seems like, get into it. They're like, I have this goal, I want to get to the UFC, and for better or worse, they got a lot of pressure on themselves, wanting to get to a certain level. For you, what was it like just knowing that, hey, I'm just going to do this and see how it goes? Do you think maybe it made it a little bit easier for you to develop?
Yeah, man, because originally this is just a hobby, man. This is just, I didn't really even feel comfortable for a long time telling people this is what I do. I didn't get a whole lot of support. Other than from my gym, from a lot of people, at least they didn't know about it, So I didn't tell people I fought, man. I mean, I was embarrassed, to be honest. Kind of where I live and stuff. It's sometimes the idea of an MMA fighter is some dude who's all tatted up and just goes out and parties and bangs strippers all the time, which is fun and stuff. But that's just not really who I am, man. It's not. So you get these assumptions about, anyway, I was saying, it was hard for me to be in my own skin just to tell people this is what I do, so, I kind of hid, but the pressure as far as trying to be in the UFC and make this, I was just trying to fight, I didn't really think this was going to be a career, man, so, the pressure of trying to be in the UFC and having this be a career is more now than it was then, I want to do this, so I can't do it anymore. So my body says, hey, man, you're just not competitive anymore. You should go to teach or something because you just ain't quick. You're not fast. You ain't young anymore. But I like to do it up in whatever time that happens. I like to do it up till that point, And then, hopefully I can make a lifestyle for myself, make a living, and hopefully have a good life after. That's really all I want from fighting, to be honest, other than, each fight experience. Like right now, I just want to be as good as I can possibly be. And if that means a world championship one day, great. But the goal for me is just to be better. Be better tomorrow, be better the next day. That's a simple goal for me. So the pressures of the UFC are more now.
Right, and you train at the MMA lab down in Glendale with Ben Henderson and Efrain Escudero and those guys, right?
That's correct.
Right, so obviously people have heard of them. Ben's now the UFC champion, so it doesn't get much better than him. But and I know there's other guys on the fight team and people like yourselves who are moving up. But what's it been like training with a team at that high of a level with that much experience?
Oh man, to be honest, it's everyday work. I don't know any different, man. people talk to me. I've done some interviews now, and you know, this is all new to me. But that's actually a question I've heard a few times now, and to answer differently, man. I knew Ben before he was a UFC champion. I knew Ben before he was even in WEC, man. Ben's just, you know, a good friend of mine. He's, you know, he trains his butt off. We work hard, and you know, Ben's like an older brother to me. You know, like you don't always like each other because you know you stand across the cage, you know, 6 days a week for the last 5 years, man. Seeing that dude sometimes, so I get tired of seeing him sometimes, but you know, like. It's just regular. I mean, it's just everyday work for me, man. It's not even that big a deal, man. That friend, all those guys are just good friends, man. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but getting to train with guys at that level, is it hard to go in there against the guy you're fighting and think that he might be dangerous, since you probably feel like you train with guys who are probably at an even higher level, or is it pretty easy for you?
I don't know. I don't ever think about that stuff, man. Because you know, there's good fighters out of there. I mean, there's people who, you know, in the middle of nowhere who get good training, you know, and are pretty good fighters. And, you know, there's other good camps out there. You know, like I fought Frank Gomez. He got a great, you know, Greg Jackson. They got a whole lineup. You know, they got more pro fighters out of that gym than we do. You know, so I don't know, man. I mean, you can always. I try to think about that stuff, man. If I do what I'm supposed to do, you know, for my camps, I'm not afraid of fighting anybody, man. As long as I know I did what I had to do to be ready, you know, I'm not afraid of anybody.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, you took care of Roli Delgado in the third round. Was it TKO? Talk about how that fight went, and you know, obviously he's a very good submission guy. Were you expecting to have the advantage on the feet and maybe just use your wrestling to keep it where you wanted to? Talk about how the fight played out.
It's kind of hard for me a little bit because I got kind of emotional in that fight. So I kind of remember how I felt, my emotions, especially that first round I got cut. But I mean, I've had some up and downs in my fight career, but you know, like this cut, this whole situation, this whole scenario, was just a bad experience altogether, man. I mean, ShoFights put on a good show, but they flew me out Thursday, the day pulled away in, and you know, like the cut was way harder than it needed to be because I got out. Like, they crunched my time down. Our flight got in late. You know, the thing about, you know, retaining water. When I went to do my session that night, I didn't lose as much as I normally usually lose. You know, the weigh-ins were at 2. You know, I didn't make weight technically. And then at the beginning of the round, like they said I kicked him, or he said I kicked him in the groin, even though the ref never took points off of me. 3 different times, and I didn't. And then they said even in the backstage before the fight team went down, they were talking about you already got your verbal warning, so if it happens, you're getting a point. So I mean, it was frustrating because I thought he was trying to play a point off in the first round because I never kicked him in the groin, and you know, the whole cut, and then it's just a really kind of frustrating, kind of an emotional round. Like I just wanted to beat that dude up bad, more than usual. But the fight went great, man. I persevered through that round, and then second round, I just, you know, I held him down, I wrestled him, I jiu-jitsu'd him, and then third round, I beat him up on the feet so he crumbled, and then just put him away with some elbows at the end.
Right, and you know, talking about all the issues going through it, you know, fighting's hard enough when you know everything goes perfectly. So when things don't, I mean, you know, is that always something that you've been able to get through as far as the mental side of sports? Just, you know, knowing that things aren't always going to be perfect and feeling comfortable even when, you know, your game plan doesn't go the exact way you want.
Well, I mean, it's a little more than that, man. Like even like the state of Missouri has a commission. Every commission is a little bit different, but the battle grade, everybody. I mean, it's a pretty common thing that you get a pound allowance unless it's a title fight. So I mean, he weighed in at 45.9. I weighed in at 47. I had 2 hours to get 1 pound off, but because I didn't make 45.9. I guess they just go lower, because technically neither one of us made the contracted weight agreement on 145. So because I didn't make 45.9, I was 1/10 of a pound off. I made 46. If this had been Vegas, you know, I'd have made weight. But because it's in Missouri, I didn't make weight. So it got to be kind of a crummy situation because, you know, you have to renegotiate or whatever, and he tried to take like half my winnings. Like he wanted 50%, and yeah, I ended up having to give him 22% of my show purse, which, you know, still, man, like I'm just to train, just to be able to do what I do, and for him to take that, especially if you're a fighter, and you know what it takes to cut weight, and I made 46, so it's like I was already frustrated and pretty sad about the whole situation, because people used to take pride, like half the fight is making weight, and I didn't technically make weight, so it sucks,
Yeah, and I live out in Virginia, and the commission here is not known as the best in the country. Is not bad, but it probably could be better. I mean, fighting the places you have, as a fighter yourself, and fans complain about it all the time, even with Nevada. But how much would you like to see just more consistency and maybe more more experienced professionals in charge of these events, just so that you know what you have to do beforehand, and you know there's not going to be any last second changes.
Well, and I don't know who to blame, to be honest. And to be honest, in my heart, I made weight. I made 46. Like on paper and technically against the commission, I didn't. But in my heart, I did. And so, I'm not sure, man. I'm not. Everybody there seemed to have a power allowance. I don't. It would be helpful, man. But I don't know who to point the finger at. I don't know if it was the commission's fault. I don't know if it was the guys running Show Your Rolls fight. I don't know if the information between ShoFights and my management. I don't know if some miscommunication happened there. About what names were going and what was happening and the agenda, like what the schedule was going to be like. But either way, man, I didn't get the memo, and it's whatever, though. Like shit happens, and you got to roll with it. So, and that's kind of what I did. And I'm looking back, and I still get fired up. Like cause it was harder than it needed to be. It didn't need to be like that. I didn't need to suffer more than I needed to.
Right.
And I had to, and it is what it is. But I just gotta learn from it and just be better next time, man.
Right, and on to the positives, obviously you got the win. It was a pretty big fight card with guys like Carl Parisian, John Gunderson, Marcus Aurelio, Lyle Beerbaum, some, pretty big-name fighters on there. You fought in Strikeforce Challengers before, so going back to what you talked about earlier and kind of feeling embarrassed saying you were a fighter and all that stuff, I mean, so how does it feel now, I guess, now that you're at the level you're at? I mean, do you feel different with people knowing you're a fighter, or do they kind of see at this point that you're, getting up there and you're a legit professional now?
Well, it's nice because, like before it was like I wasn't embarrassed because I thought people were like didn't take me serious. I don't think people understood what I did every day, and all people I sacrificed a lot to do this. And I don't think people understand what I had to give to do this, and I think people who are in my position, as far as like in the fight world, like people kind of understand what it's like to become a fighter or be a fighter or grow as a fighter and what you have to sacrifice to do this, And I don't I got a lot of from some family members even. I had some and just people in general, man. I just didn't have a whole lot of support. Like you're doing what? What are you okay? And when nobody knows you, you're just another guy talking, and it's, again, I don't know what it's like all over the world, man. This is where I live at, and like everybody thinks they're a fighter, man. Everybody thinks. They train at this gym, or they do this, or they do that, or, like it's funny when I tell people what I do, and it's the response I generally have gotten is, oh, I know somebody who does what you do. I'm like, you don't know somebody who does what I do. You got somebody who maybe told you, or, made a story up, or, like, I'm a dime a dozen. I'm not a dime a dozen. This what I do is, not too many people do. We're a small sport still, and, like, it takes a lot of work to do this. It takes a lot of sacrifice, and most people don't want to do that. At least not for this sport, maybe for something else, but in their own way. So it's nice to get a little credibility, to have this record, to have some people just wanting to go, hey man, you're doing this, you're doing it. You have a future in this. It's nice. It feels good, man.
Mm-hmm. And you've already fought twice this year. Do you have an idea or like a timetable of when you'd like to get back in there? Do you know where it might be? Of course, the press release said, Sorry, go ahead.
I'm looking September, October to get my next fight. If it's not, like if the big show doesn't call or whatever, but the next lineup fight would probably be September, October, just because I like to take some time off to train, just to get better, man, to set some new goals on what I'd like to improve on, and then try to meet them before the next camp starts.
Right. Okay, well, it's been great talking to you, but before we wrap things up, any people you'd like to thank, any sponsors or anyone else you'd like to shout out, just go ahead.
Always my family, my mom, the people who helped me support me. There's too many to really talk about and continue to support me that I could thank, but my mom mostly. And then my gym, man, my coaching in my gym, because without the support of this gym, isn't even a reality. The reality, I wouldn't even be able to do this. There's no way. And, I got to thank Apex Sports Agency, Apex Sports Agency, for making these last 2 fights happen for me and just helping me out. So, other than that, though, there's too many people to list off individually.
Right. Well, like I said, appreciate you taking the time. And just so you know, I can only speak for myself, but I mean, even the people I know that have trained but didn't actually fight. I mean, I trained for about a year. I wasn't that good at it, and I know that I wasn't a fighter, and I would have never said that just because I would have definitely been embarrassed because I knew I wasn't at that level. I saw the guys in our gym who did, and I just know it's entirely different to go in there and do some sparring sessions and then to actually get in the cage and really prepare for it properly. And so, a lot of people do respect what you do. So good luck to you in the future.
Thank you, man.
All right. Yep, have a good one. Bye.